Slipping quickly from the tip of my tongue. Slang is my home language. So I am South African, born and bred in Gauteng. Actually, I didn't introduce myself. Hi, I go by Pilea Pula, and I like to dissect my poetry here on my YouTube channel. I feel like a lot of, I want to say, Pretorians. Pretoria is a province in Gauteng. Speak numerous languages, and usually this begins in childhood. And I'm witnessing this with my nephew actually. He's learning English in crèche, learning Sizulu at his mom's with his mom's family, and learning, I would say, Spitori Setswana with his father's family with us. However, learning all these languages all at once, it's like you're trying to grasp onto, it's like having, like, it's like being a jack of all trades, you know. You can't really fully master one language, which is sad. I mean, you can if you dedicate time to doing that, but naturally so not really, not as easily as someone who just has English as their home language and they just speak English their entire life, you know. And I wouldn't say I know Setswana, for example, because if I went to Botswana, which is a country that borders South Africa, I wouldn't communicate fluently with them. I think they would be able to hear a little bit of what I'm saying, and I would be able to hear a little bit of what they're saying. But English would be my best shot if I wanted to have a great conversation with someone from Botswana, like, for example. And Sesotho is there's a country inside of South Africa called, no, inside of South Africa called Lesotho. And if I went there, yeah, I'd be deaf. I wouldn't be able to really hear um much of what they're saying. Again, purely because I know bits and pieces of their language because of Spitori. You know, Spitori is what I would say a lot of people in Pretoria speak. It's a combination of Setswana, Sesotho. I want to say Sepedi, but not really. I want to say English, but not really. I want to say Afrikaans, but not really. Because Sepedi is so deep, and I love listening to Sepedi. Oh, I don't know, something about it feels like I feel so comfortable with it, even though it's a language that I would say it has a couple of insults here and there. You know, like they can be rude, and it just sounds cultural. And yeah, I think that's enough on the languages. I think let me give back to the poem. In both English and my mother tongue, Mother Nature, she Swear is like second language, second nature. Fuck. I thought that was just a fun play on words. And interestingly enough, I do not know my mother tongue. Well, I do know my mother's tongue. My mom is Tswana, so technically I know that. But since my mom and dad are married and we all kind of took my dad's surname and my dad's Tsonga, I'm Tsonga, right? And I don't really know Tsonga. I know bits and pieces, but I know like 10%. No, not even 10 is a lot. Maybe like 8. 8%. Yeah. Um, I find it interesting how we like, there isn't really like a father tongue or father language, you know, there isn't a focus on that. Actually, let me not ruminate on this. I find it interesting how a lot of things culturally are centered towards the father, but then okay, let me not get into that. I don't know, English. I know it well because it was taught in school. But it's not, as much as I write all these poems in English, it doesn't really feel like home, you know? It feels fancy. It feels like a fancy costume, hence why I like poetry. It's fancy, man. But it's not me, you know? Even though I can most like describe myself fully, like I have a broader vocab in English because that was what I was taught, but it's not me. Wait, let me stop. Doesn't take a body language expert to see that my generation doesn't speak Shakespearean, but the language of love is still poetry. So allow me to alter the alphabet of prized poems so we can speak the same language. So as much as I might diss on English and be like, oh, it's not home, it's a professional language, you know, it's fancy, it's a costume. It's still a universal language, you know? And I see its importance in that sense. And writing this stanza was, I guess, affirming to myself that I can still write poetry, but it doesn't have to be as fancy as Shakespeare's poetry rather. And I can still call it poetry, and I can still make like others love my poetry even though it's not as fancy. And yeah, I write in ways that I feel like are relatable. You know, sometimes you don't want to read something and need a fucking dictionary with you the entire motherfucking time. Sorry for the swearing. I did say it was my second language, so. But yeah, as fun as that is, sometimes to feel like, oh, I'm getting educated. Sometimes you just want something to read and understand it, you know, and be able to like reminisce and ruminate on it immediately without needing anything explained. Cause I ain't got no silver tongue from no silver spoon. My tongue is sharp like you were fed by the knife that stabbed you in the back. When you hear, what on the street is your mama? Let me stop there. I feel like that's a bit of rapping. Oh my god, yes, I'm not a big fan of rap actually. I'm not the biggest fan of music. I can go like weeks without listening to music. I feel like what music is for other people, poetry is that for me. I need it often, and it makes me feel alive, you know. Sometimes I'll read an old poem, like an old depressing poem, not even of my own, just someone else's, and just to feel something, just to feel alive, you know. And I like happy poems too. I like positive poems too. I just am a bit of an intense person most of the time. And that's what makes me feel. And oh, lyrics. There's this poem by Billie Eilish called, I think, When the Party's Over. Those lyrics look like a poem. I remember I used to be so obsessed with that poem back in matric. Not poem, again, the lyrics, the song. And there was a time where I was writing a lot. Just that shape, the shape of the lyrics, I would write my poems like that because I just found it so inspirational. Anyway, let me continue reading the rest of this poem. Been chirping like a little birdie caught in the wind, her going through the grapevine. By mice and the mice told me I know no cat caught my tongue. But you know these walls got ears, so I'll bite my tongue and You'll hold on to yours so civil, baby. Yeah, that's my mama tongue. Oh my god, this is so good. So I'm talking about gossip, right? And just the word of mouth. And I think I'm being passive aggressive here towards my mom. Cause sometimes she a gossip, and sometimes I wouldn't say word on the street. Not that. No, it's not that serious. But with family, sometimes she says some things that I'm like, oh, why did you say that to like family members? I just feel like, and I love my mom so much, and I just want more. Like I wish for more. Like obviously not now. Maybe in her next life. I just like she's brilliant. She's so smart, guys. Like yo, I wish she had these stories to gossip about herself, all these stories to tell, and not about me. Not about me having certain interactions. I wish it could be about her. Like oh blah 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 blah. I wish I wish she had all these stories about herself and not just me, cause like oh she raised me. She's capable of so much more than just being a mother, or being someone's wife and all of that. So I guess that's why I'm being passive aggressive towards being mad at like when she gossips. It's like I get it, I'm understanding, I'm sympathetic, that's my mom, and I don't know, sometimes I think like what's the best thing she has done? I don't want to say it's raising me, like, but what's the best thing that is fully centered around herself? And I feel like this even with like certain women in our generation, not like traditional um wives or stay-at-home mothers, just certain women who I feel like there's a lack of identity, and it's just sort of like a gossip, and they feel like oh the best thing that they've done is also the worst thing. It's either spilling someone's secrets. There's just such a loss of identity in gossiping. Like I wish people gossiped and were bragging about themselves. That's what I want. And I want to mention something else that I shouldn't. But there's like this girl, lady, woman. I hate using the word woman sometimes because I just attach it with a lot of responsibilities. And lady, it's not. It feels pretentious. It feels like she just has makeup and a wig or something. So yeah, this girl did this thing that was like, well, it was revenge, right? And she was so proud, and I'm just like, I just want her to do something that makes her proud, that like doesn't have to do with someone else. Because what's revenge is like someone did this bad thing to you, now you're, because of what they did, doing a bad thing to them, and that it strips again you of your identity, because it's a very copycat thing, right? And I just want more from women. Just want more from us girlies. And I just hope we all are able to do things that make us feel like ourselves. And there's another poem, I think it's the one I did before this one. Wait, let me check. Yeah, I was correct. There is another video that I feel also speaks on identity, self identity, and just how important that is, at least to me. And hopefully, I'm able to properly share why it should be to other people as well. Yeah, so please check it out. Uh, it's good. I think all my poems, at least the ones I'm sharing, are really good. So yeah, I believe this is goodbye. Thank you for being here. Um, please like and share this with someone who you think might like it. And I want to say subscribe as well. I haven't actually been saying that in any of my videos. I just been like, yo, I just want to be like, y'all, just watch the fucking video. Just watch. That's all I want to ask from y'all from now. Just watch my videos. Oh my god.